Here's a cool little chart I came across. I thought I'd just comment on it. This is the largest point declines in history in the Dow Jones Industrial Average in the US. And what's of note here, this is the top 10, and September 08, October 08, October 08, September 08, and September 08. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 10 declines in history have happened in the last month. That's a little bit more than interesting. As a supplementary note, today is October the 10th. It's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the top 10 of all time have actually happened. Today was an interesting day in that it didn't close down as much as the open, but the Dow was actually down 700 points on the open today, so you can add that in. Even though it had quite a good recovery, we're due for some kind of a relief rally when we finally bottom out. Whether it's going to be soon or a few more days, we'll have to see. I suspect that we will get a multiple 1,000-point rally when we finally get going, and then next year in 2009 and into 2010 will be the bottom that will last for a few years. One other quick point about this chart too. This is the chart showing the largest point declines in the history of the Dow Jones Index in the USA. This is now again October of 2008. Point-wise, large numbers, but we're starting from a higher level, so you can't really kind of count that as being how painful it is. When you look at it on a percentage basis, the worst was 1987, where it fell one day 22.6%. So if you had an index that was at 10,000, or let's say 12,000, and it drops 22%, like you're talking about 2.5, maybe 2,700 point drop in one day. So 777 points, let's just round it up to 800. As painful as that is not anywhere near serious on a percentage basis. But when you get up into the 7% range, it's a little bit serious, and it feels quite painful, but try to keep it all in perspective. Another chart here might be a little bit hard to read, but here's the basic premise of the chart. This goes back to 1900. When you get into a bear market, they tend to go on for 18 to 24 months. That's a usual time frame. And there can be many great rallies in the middle, but then it'll rally back up and crash back down again. What this chart is showing is the first year of that bear market, what were the average declines just on a percentage basis, to give you some perspective on how the bear market of today is evolving, which is October now of 2008. The decline that we've had so far, and this is not counting the last couple of days, so you can get a sense of how bad it's been. This decline in the Dow that we've had in 2008 is the greatest decline in the entire almost 110-year history. So the reason I point this out is a lot of people are saying, well, I think that's pretty much over, and then we can get another bull market going. Bear markets take a long time to resolve themselves, especially when you have a lot of government intervention. Major Canadian brokerage house today acknowledged that they think this correction will not likely be over until 2010. So that would either be March time frame of 2010, or possibly even October, where bear markets tend to hit a bottom. This would match quite well, by the way, with the presidential cycle. And what I'm getting at here, let's assume that Barack Obama becomes the president. It looks like it at this point in time, that he doesn't have to go back to the voters for 4 years. So generally the first 2 years of a new president's term are the worst because they don't have to get reelected. And then midterm elections tend to be not that good for the government in power because they have to get all the pain and suffering over with. It's really quite good. Let's assume that Obama wins. He can then say, well, Bush and the Republicans created all these problems, it's going to take time to solve it. go through 2 years of pain and suffering, let us go through a monumental bear market where maybe things are going to be down 50-60% before it's all over. Then after that, then he can start stimulating. They've got a lot of the debt purged from the system, and then maybe in 2010 to 2012 we can actually have a pretty good recovery. Let's assume he gets reelected. Then 2012 to 2014 we can then have another major down cycle, and then 2014, 2016 kind of get things going again. And that presidential cycle tends to have a big influence on politics, because the one thing about being a politician, you do have to get reelected. So